everybody. I just wanted to hop on here and share some of this video with you. I'm not going to play the whole thing because he speaks really slowly and it's kind of annoying. But so I'm starting it in the middle, and he's talking about just like a meeting that he had. Not a meeting, but a gathering that he had with some of his white friends and some stuff they talked about. I find it's always interesting to hear the view of white supremacy through a white person that says that they understand it. So he's saying he understands that white people are evil. And so let's see what, I didn't even watch this last half. I watched part of it, but there was some points that I wanted to talk about. So let's see if we can play it.
I just find myself hurt. I find myself upset. Sometimes I find myself not sure what to say.
One of the interesting things that I want to point out is that we notice that whenever white people are talking about anything, even if it's something that is directly affecting Black people in a negative way, they always find it in their hearts to make themselves a victim. Like, this guy is really making himself out to be just like this damsel in distress, this victim of white supremacy. Or here we go.
But one thing I do know is that I am more focused than ever. I am more determined than ever when it comes to addressing what is going on in this nation. I went to a community, activist meeting last week. And during this meeting...
Okay, I just want to say something really quick. I'm sorry that I keep playing it, but before this, he talks about going on a group dinner or something with his white buddies, and they meant to not discuss anything political, and for some reason, cops profiling Black people came up, and one of his friends said that racial profiling is good for Black people because it keeps us, pretty much it keeps Black people in line. It keeps them safe, and it keeps you holding each other accountable for stuff. And so I guess we should be happy that we're being racially profiled and killed by a white supremacist rogue terrorist. So now you're up to the moment.
We discussed a few things. One of the things during our introductions was, what is your greatest fear? What is your greatest hope? I expressed that my greatest fear was that as a nation we become complacent. We'd accept Trump and his regime, his tyranny, as the norm. That our nation would settle down and accept him. That is my greatest fear. That this man and all the hate that he has fueled in this nation would become accepted as the norm. That is still my greatest fear. To see a video of a group of people saying hail Trump and the hate crimes that have increased drastically is just heartbreaking. My greatest fear is that that will become the new normal. We cannot let that happen. We should not let that happen. For the future of this nation, for the future of our children, we cannot let that happen. So that was my greatest fear. My greatest hope was that the communities threatened under Trump would truly remain stronger together. Now let me explain what I mean by that. Obviously, Trump was very specific in the groups that he targeted during his campaign. Now, what I've noticed about Trump and other hate mongers is what they rely on most is that the groups they target won't support each other. They won't stand by each other. Because as long as it's not affecting them personally, they would just let the other people, the other groups being hated, fall to the wayside.
And this is very true. And it's sad and it's pathetic, but it's definitely true. That's why we had Muslims voting for Trump. That's why we had Black people voting for Donald Trump. That's why we had Mexicans thinking because they had a green card status, or that they had that they were being going to be legally in the United States. That's why we had them voting for Trump, because we have all these people that are being victimized and being terrorized by these white supremacist terrorists, and yet we sit there and look and say, well, those are the Mexicans, so we'll vote for him so he can get rid of the Mexicans. That's not really affecting us. Well, it is affecting you, because they're still discriminating against someone that they're in their property. They're in California and Texas that were part of Mexico in the first place. If we can all come together and fight white supremacy, then we're not going to win, and that's why we haven't won. And that is one of their biggest their biggest weapons is divide and conquer. And we're very, even in the Black community, we're very divided, and it's insane how divided we are. We all can't even agree on whether Black people should have reparations. Now, how is that? How is it that we can't agree on whether Black people should get reparations for their almost 400 years of slavery, and then Jim Crow and all the stuff that we deal with right now? Everyone was fine and dandy with giving the Jewish white people reparations, and I assure you, the white people were not arguing back and forth saying, no, we shouldn't get reparations. Oh yeah, we should. Oh no, we shouldn't. That's ridiculous. We are way too divisive. We really do need to come together, because this is what's helping them. This is because we keep we're stuck on this one thing where we cannot come together, where we have to be here's an example of the divisiveness and just really ignorance. My sister and I were in LA just a couple months ago, and we were hanging out with some cousins that we just met, and they were telling us that white people are not their problem, Mexicans are their problem. And it's like, that is just so ignorant and just so dumb. We're not focusing on what we need to focus on. Like, how are we skipping over white supremacist terrorists and saying, well, the Mexicans are our problem? No, they're not. Even if you don't like the Mexicans, get rid of the white people first, because they're your terrorists. They're terrorizing you. They're keeping you down. But that dividing thing, that is why Trump is where he is right now. You had stupid white women voting for Trump, and you know why they voted for him? Because he was racist. They voted for him because he hates other people. So it was like, oh, we'll just have this terrorist as our president because he hates somebody else. Come together, people. And I'm not saying come together with white women, because that's really not going to benefit us. I'm saying come together with Black people, come together with Muslims, come together with Mexicans. Fight the biggest battles. The biggest hurdle we have is white supremacist terrorism. So here, let's try to watch the rest.
They even throw them under the bus to protect themselves. That's what these bigots rely on.
You heard it right from the cow's mouth. I don't know if that's how it's. Anyways, he's telling you because this is him. These are his people. He knows how they think. And he's telling you. And this is the truth. They know that if they can keep you divided, then they win.
But I'm here to make a promise personally. I'm here to make a stand personally. I'm a member of the LGBT community. I'm a gay man. But I make a promise here, a promise that I will always keep. I promise to keep that I will not just speak up. I will not just stand up. I will not just challenge laws, policies that threaten my community. As a white man, first of all, as a white person, I will be there to stand up against and speak out against anything that comes from the Trump presidency that threatens communities of color. As a man, I will be there to stand up and speak out against what I'm calling at this point, what other kind of person wants to give power to his children.
That was like really share. Nothing. So just gonna pop this open so we can chat a bit. So the reason why I wanted to point that out to you guys, because I think it's sometimes hard for Black people to listen to another Black person's opinion on racism. For some reason, a lot of people need to hear it from other people, and they'll believe it more from a white person than they will a Black person. But also, he knows how white people are. This dude, his gatherings and parties and stuff are full of white people. White people feel open to discuss be open to be freely racist, pretty much, if there's no Black people around. When they're in the rooms by themselves, the people that you would think are not racist, you would think that these people are not white supremacists. But then when you hear the stuff that comes out of their mouth, that's when you know that you're dealing with a true white supremacist terrorist. And I do still believe that this guy is a white supremacist. Yes, I do. I think that he knows that he is. And I think he knows that he has supremacist status, that he can go and voice his concerns. And a lot of these white people that are at these Black Lives Matter marches and stuff, they know that they can be out there. They know that because of their white supremacist status, they can go out there and speak their mind and be seen and boycott and cause trouble because they're not going to be targeted. And that's another thing that we need to realize. When we go out on these like women's marches and stuff with the LGBTQ or any of those marches, you're still going to be targeted. If the cops come and they want to spray some mace at someone, they're going to do it towards Black people. Because even if you're a rogue white supremacist terrorist cop, you already know that if you mace if he was to mace that white dude, he's going to face a lot more consequences than if that white racist cop sprays a Black person. They still know that. It doesn't matter if he's gay, and it wouldn't matter if these white women are women. They're still going to face more consequences. If you're Black, then oh well, like they really don't care. They know they're not going to face any consequences. So even if you are marching with these white people and you're doing it trying to be a feminist or whatever, you still have to understand that you're still putting yourself in a way more vulnerable position, because if anyone gets attacked by these white supremacist rogue terrorists, it's going to be you. Also, he was very right on the fact that Trump won because everyone was divided. We all of these people knew that this was a bad person, that this person should not be running this country. But them being racist against Mexicans didn't matter to Black people. Them being racist against Muslims or it didn't matter. We had people that were voting for him to make these immigration laws, even though they were immigrants, based on the fact that he hates Mexicans. So we're gonna vote for him. Cutting our nose off to spite your face? I think it's the same. It's not good. If we can't get together and get on the same page over like the simplest stuff, you would think it's common sense. Common sense is what our biggest problem is, which is white supremacist terrorism. We all know that. And yet that you will still see videos over and over if you go on YouTube of Black people sitting there propping up Donald Trump, sticking up for Donald Trump. It's ridiculous, it's foolishness, and it really needs to stop. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to try to answer some comments from my last video. And I will see you guys later. Thank you.